I had already planned on making 2 prayer quilts this week and had another one added last night. My daughter requested one for a friend who's battling breast cancer. So she asked me to make her one, and I'm glad to. I had these 23rd Psalm printed, and I'm going to start with those. I got those a couple of weeks ago, and so I'm using these as my center. Had some white left from my really wide white backing from another quilt, so just going to add white, and then I have these border prints. I just love border prints. So I'm going to cut these and use these as a border. I've already stripped off the salvage edge on the one side and going to just tear this off. Don't watch this if you think it's desecrating the fabric, but here we go. I used the blue on another prayer quilt. And sometimes I just hate tearing into this beautiful fabrics, but I got it to use. And can't be put to any better use than praying for people. Just seems to be a storm of cancer. So with the border prints, I'm going to start on this edge. They're the same. And going to be very careful with the border, but I want, when I'm going to be using it, I'm going to want to sew along this line so that I get the full print. So I'm going to make sure that I cut 1/4 inch away from this border, this tip all around, and that's going to give me about a 6-inch border all around. So I think it'll be beautiful. It blends with the paint in the print nicely. Hadn't planned on that, but that's the way God works. So I'm going to strip the border out and get it ready. That way I'll be ready for any quilt I want to use. And then I'm going to start sewing them together. So out of that 5 yards of border print, I ended up with 5 sections, and they will turn out to be about 6.5 inches wide. I think it's going to be beautiful. Has a lacy look. And there were 2 narrower sections that I'll be using for anything I want to use them for, an inside border on something. But there's also 5 yards of this one and 5 yards of this one. Love border prints. It's so very versatile to use, and when I get them, I prepare them this way, get them stripped so they're ready for whatever quilt I choose. So now I might go ahead and strip this one out, except I haven't decided how wide I want the border. I mean, I could have just this border, just this border, so there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, there'd be 4 blue borders, and 1, 2, 3, 4 variegated borders. Love them. So now I got to get ready and sew these quilts together. These 2 prayer quilts are quilted, not done. This one is done, and I am taking a online how to machine quilt feathers. So I'm testing it out on these. I'm fairly pleased with the results. Have a lot more practice to have to do, but I liked it, enjoyed doing it. For these, instead of binding the edges of quilts the way I normally do, I decided to go back and leave the backing of the quilt a little wider so that I could fold it over and stitch it down in front. So that's what I've done here, save a little bit of time, and it's an okay edging. Don't recommend this for longevity quilts. Go ahead if you want to, but it was something to do to get these done. I need to get them out because I have several to do and just saving time. And they're nice. It's okay. But here is the second one. And you can see that here's the edge of the top and here is the back. So I'm just folding it over and then folding it to the edge of the top, and that will be stitched with my blanket stitch on my machine. Have you tried these little do-jiggies? Pretty neat. I like them sometimes instead of pins. So, and I'm not going to clip all the way around. I'm just showing you that this is the way it goes, and then going to stitch these down. When it comes to the corners, that was a little tricky because I've left binding in there. So it kind of got a little thick. I found that clipped the corner of the binding off. And I didn't even try to miter this on the edge. This needs to be folded in some more. So I've taken the bulk of the batting out and just square folding the edge. There are times you just got to take some shortcuts to get things done. So over to the machine and get this one done. This will be, I've quilted both of these today and going to get them done. So the blanket stitch is set and I have it on a wide stitch. It's my favorite applique stitch. If you want it to look kind of like my granny did, then put it with black thread. I can make it disappear kind of like this here. You can make it almost an invisible stitch if you want. Fix this stitch there. Now I'm going to turn the corner, and no, these are sure not going to win any quilt contest, but that's not what they're for. See, right there's the edge of the top, so this is just folding over the top.